What's up, people? What's up? Welcome to another episode of Friday Night WrestleCast over here on the Koalition. I am your host, Adam Vale, and I'm joined by Dana Abercrombie.
You did it!
There you go. You see, I told you, dreams can't come true. And we got Ricky. What's up, Ricky?
Hey, what's up? How's it going?
And the big man, Richard Bailey Jr. What's up, Richard?
What's up, everybody?
There we go. All right. So, we are here to do our predictions for NXT's In Your House pay-per-view. That's right, bringing back the old names. Real quick then, anybody remember or have any highlight moments of the In Your House pay-per-views that just stick out when you heard, oh, In Your House is coming back? Anything pop up like, oh, shit, I remember when so-and-so match happened. What about you, Rich? Anything?
That's a good question. I can't think of any match off the top of my head.
Exactly.
I can only think of the actual events happening, but I don't remember any memorable matches that took place at the actual In Your House.
That is true, and there's a reason for that, and we'll talk about that soon. All right, Ricky, what about you? Because there is a reason. Ricky, any standouts? Nothing?
Honestly, the only thing I remember is like the little backdrop of like a fake house.
There you go.
That's it.
That is it for me also. Dana?
Same thing. I remember the graphics because it was just, I was too young, but I remember the bright colors.
All right. Yeah, that is true. It was bright colors that reminded me of Saved by the Bell. And it had a cheesy looking house. And they would, I remember at least the first one, they opened up the door of the house. It looked like they were walking out of the house to go down the ramp. It was weird. But yeah, this was their budget pay-per-view. This is their way of introducing. It was like, hey, it was a pay-per-view. They wanted to take your money, but it wasn't one of the main pay-per-views. So it was an upgraded version of like main event, but you had to pay for it. You know, but it wasn't full price. I think it was in this like $30 or something, 35. It was around that price range.
That's a lot of money because I remember just regular WWE pay-per-views being $20.
I don't remember that. It's always been within.
Can't say I remember that. That's always not like 50 or more.
Yeah, because I remember even early on in the early days, late 80s, 90s, it was like $50 for Mania and SummerSlam. Definitely $49.99 type of thing. Because I remember that was the whole thing with the In Your House. It was like, hey, we got these other pay-per-views in your house, and you're gonna get those type of matches, but not super big, but big enough that it's worth paying for. And they were at a reduced price.
Here we go. Actually, it said that it ran for 3 hours, and they would offer 2-hour pay-per-views priced at $14.95.
Shit.
Won't you? Because I remember begging my mother for $20 to see WWF at the time.
Damn, how did I get all those numbers wrong? I guess, even later on.
How much did they charge for Tuesday in Texas? I don't know if any of you guys remember that one.
There was a Tuesday in Texas?
Tuesday in Texas was like a one-off pay-per-view they did like right after Survivor Series 91 when The Undertaker beat Hogan for the belt in controversial fashion because Ric Flair put the folding chair in the ring. And like, I would say, like, Jack Tunney declared that wasn't like a correct way for the match to go, so they had the rematch at Tuesday in Texas, which I guess was like a glorified house show, but they had it as a pay-per-view. I don't remember what that cost or whatever, but like one of my uncles recorded it for me, and like I just watched it through that.
Well, it was back in 91, so I can't imagine it being $40.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, man, I forgot all about that one. They had a bunch of weird one-off name pay-per-view events. But, all right, well, the one thing that we could all agree on, that does stand out, is that set design, that house, that cheesy-looking house. Makes you wonder if they're going to bring that back, or if they're just going to update the house. They showed it already?
The graphics, or the actual, like, house?
The set that they're going to have. Not the graphics, but the set, like the ramp set.
I really doubt it. I mean, everything's already filmed.
Yeah.
So anything is possible.
And
because of that.
And that's going to be done at Full Sail, right? That's not at the Performance Center.
No.
All right. So, people, we're going to try to change things up a little bit and just try to streamline it more. So, we're just going to cover 3 pieces of news, and then we're going to go straight into the predictions and then sprinkle some stuff that's relevant during those matches. So, Dana, hit us up. What do you got?
Okay, so here's what happened. Remember when everybody was this big mass firing, like Bloody Wednesday, and everyone was just a hot mess? Well, it seems that WWE is sorry, and they are trying to bring back a number of recently released stars. And you already seen how Drake Maverick and that whole storyline play out over.
I've said it before. I don't think he was ever fired. I think this whole thing was a work.
Well,
from the video of him crying to this.
That has not been honestly answered to the point where we would really know. I hope that I don't know, because either way, it's terrible if you look at it.
Oh, yeah.
But what happened is that, according to Brian Alvarez and the Wrestling Observer, is that literally we're almost at a month after they was just released by 24 superstars. WWE is now making low offers to those stars in an attempt to get them to return to the company, because guess what? They don't want them to be signed to other companies that start with an A or an E or a W or TNA. And that what they've been offering is deals to come back. But here's the issue. It's literally at the fraction of what they were previously making. Because remember the whole COVID thing that we're going through. And also, they're saying it's hard for them to generate money. And so they just want them to come back in fear of them going off to other places. Those who are having, keeping track is around Rusev, Zack Ryder, Luke and Gallows, Carl Anderson. But there's also been another problem, is that some of the stars were already teased for TNA's Slammiversary. So we don't know which stars or wrestlers. Sorry.
I saw that too with the Slammiversary. Now they tease that they can be there. I don't think they tease that they would be wrestling. So they could just be there just to pop up as somebody that's in the audience or whatever group. Like the crowd type of thing. Or maybe someone backstage, they could do a little something. I don't know if they're actually wrestling. They didn't say that they signed these wrestlers. So.
No, they didn't. But at the same time, wouldn't that be awful if you actually watch TNA and thinking that they was going to come and it's just them sitting in the audience as fans?
No, actually, no. It wouldn't be. Because they're not in a match. It's worse if they're advertised to be in a match and then it's like, oh, we got all these guys, like an invasion. If they were doing an invasion angle, we got these WWE guys, the ones that just got laid over, got a big invasion, see who shows up to go against our top 4 or 5 guys, whatever, who are going to be waiting in the ring. And then we find out that these dudes are not showing up. Then, that's BS, because now that was a match I was looking forward to, and it didn't happen. Just to say these people are going to appear doesn't mean anything. We see that with NXT. Whenever they get a new indie star, they would have them in the front row or something. It was like, oh, look who it is, it's Eric Young or something. No, I don't. Yeah, I'm not into it. But I think a lot of this is bullshit with the whole thing with WWE. If they knew that they were going to cut people and then go do this whole roundabout just to get them back at a lower rate, that's shady shit. They could have easily just said, hey, we're doing some pay cuts, temporary pay cuts, because obviously we're not doing house shows and stuff. So the following people, this is what we could offer you right now. You don't fire these guys and then a month later say, hey, you want to come back for half the price? Come on.
Are you serious? Have you not seen Kurt Angle?
No, Kurt Angle doesn't even want to do it, though. Kurt Angle's in his own little world with his food truck or whatever it is that he's doing.
They had Kurt Angle come back, though.
But he doesn't. It doesn't really faze him. At least if you go from his word, it's not even a rumor. It's from his last interview when he was interviewed about this whole thing, and the rumors, responding to the rumors that he was going to come back for Riddle, and he came out and said it. Oh yeah, they talked about bringing me in to manage Riddle and stuff. I passed on it. I got my other business venture, and that's taking off right now. So I'll do other little things, but he's not stressing over it.
But the point is, they tried to bring him back after firing him.
I thought he wasn't. He was furloughed. He wasn't fired.
Oh.
That's it. Yeah, he was furloughed. He wasn't one of the fired ones. He was a producer. Remember, a lot of the producers got furloughed. They didn't get fired. It was the wrestlers that got fired.
Yeah, like I think like Scott Armstrong, like former
furloughed.
He got furloughed also. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's different. That's, hey, we'll bring you back whenever things get better and so they want to bring him back to do the whole manager thing, but he's got other things going on. So he said he'll come back in another capacity, but not for that. So that's the difference here. But I don't know, Ricky, what do you think of this whole thing? Do you think it's WWE pulling a fast one on the wrestlers, or I don't know? What's your thought on this?
I mean, I'm not really quite sure because I mean, this was around the time that they usually have their cuts, like after WrestleMania and everything. Mm-hmm. But it seemed like these were more aggressive in numbers as far as the cuts than they usually do. It's interesting as far as like with Drake Maverick because it very well I'm not sure how much of that was a work and how much of it wasn't. It could very well have been like, Drake, you need to prove something, or we're letting you go for good. So this is your chance. Try to, let's see how you do in this little tournament and all that. And it's like, okay, we'll bring you back on an NXT contract. It doesn't pay as well, but at least you'll be active every week and blah, blah. It's kind of shitty when you think about it because it's like, we're going to make you desperate to stay with us and we're going to pay you less.
I thought about that too. I thought about it, but then I keep recalling that video, and he kept bringing up and emphasizing, "I have 3 more matches, 3 more matches." So then it's planted in your head. Well, I'm going to see him 3 more times, so you're going to look forward to see these 3 matches. So I don't know. I'm starting to feel maybe this was all a work, and if it is, that was very shady because a lot of people did get fired.
It's a work because you forget that this is all scripted and the winners are already determined. There is no I clawed my way and I beat everyone. It's predetermined.
Yeah, and that with Morrow and them talking about the fact is like, oh, he's trying to fight for his job and he's bringing in everything he has to fight for his job. Why would you say that? You're not saying that about anybody else. Why him?
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things is that you built him up to be this big time underdog, and it's like if you really had an intention of letting him go, you would bury him rather than prop him up as that will miss.
He would have lost in the first round. Yeah.
I mean, I did think about the last time that I remember Triple H coming out and being like, there, I know you lost, but here's a contract was when Cedric Alexander lost.
With the thumbs up to the crowd because the crowd was chanting to hire him.
Yeah. So that's one of those things where it's like, I don't know, it's hard to tell. It very well that could have been it for him. But I don't know.
It could be. I didn't see the numbers on that video. Did it get wild traffic on it? Was it all over the place? Did it go viral to the point that maybe WWE looked at it and was like, wow, look at this. We got all these people really interested. They actually care about this guy. Maybe we can use this to our advantage.
It was on Twitter. I don't know exactly what the numbers were for it, but I mean, it's like I felt like that video was genuine emotion of he knew that he was done, but he has a chance to have his kind of little own farewell to her. I'm gonna do this tournament and see how I do, and that's it. And then maybe, it could have been a thing where there were so many people that were moved by his video that they called an audible and said, you know what, let's put him in the finals and keep him.
I mean, unless they come out and tell us, we probably won't know. And then again, like Dana mentioned, this stuff was taped already, those matches. Mm-hmm. So we don't know the dates of when they were taped. Was it before, after his video? Let's say if he already taped those matches, and then this whole thing was planned out then.
Okay, I want to look into that.
Yeah, we would have known. So, Rich, got anything to say about this?
Yeah, and my controversial take on this is that yes, this was planned because you have to think about it from this perspective. Also, if this storyline was not a part of this tournament, would you have watched the tournament, or would anybody even care to watch the tournament?
Thank you.
See, there you go. That's
Very,
true.
very good point. Because Drake Maverick actually one of the reasons why I was tuning into NXT every week, because I wanted to see how he did in this whole.
There you go. Yep, it worked. It worked.
And I saw that this was the main event of NXT this past week. So clearly, they want you to be focused on this storyline with him. So yeah, because if it wasn't, I mean, they had excellent people in the tournament that I was curious to see.
She's in it.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I think you needed some type of compelling storyline to keep people engaged. So that's why they did that, I think.
Yeah, all right, Dana, number 2.
Okay, well, to piggyback off of that, there was one person who was definitely fired, and they're very angry about what happened regarding the whole Drake Maverick story.
I'm sorry, Dana, can I interrupt for a second? I'm sorry that the Drake Maverick video where where he's on Twitter and he's crying about how he's going to lose the job and everything like that was on April 15th. And it's showing, I'm looking online right now, and some of these NXT tapings happened, let's see, there was May 13th. There was May 13th and May 27th were the most recent 2 tapings. So this was well after that video came out.
All right.
From Food for Dot. I'm sorry, Dana, continue.
Oh, damn.
Okay. So, one of the people who are rightfully angry about this is Lio Rush, who basically considers this entire storyline to be a slap in the face to the people who actually were fired. He says that are you going to go and hire everyone back then? Kind of a slap in the face to use this as a shoot work. But I guess I'm not surprised. Super happy for anyone getting their job back. But damn, real trauma and a lot of others were a part of this. Boop.
Well, I agree with him on that, but then for a while, didn't he want to get out, right? He was asking to be fired.
Nobody asked to get out during a pandemic.
No, I know.
No one's hiring you.
But still, if he wanted to get out, I would assume he already had some money saved up to say that. It's not like he's just going to get out and then jump onto another show. We know how the whole thing works with the time, with the 90-day clause and sometimes 60 days, or no compete clause. So it's not like that. So but I do agree that if this is all a work, it's bullshit. It definitely sounds shady with the Maverick. It does sound shady with trying to offer lowball deals after you just fired these people, especially for the Carl Anderson and Gallows, man. That was what, a $500,000 deal each, $500K each contract. So what to cut them like that, and then a month later be like, hey, want to come back? Who knows what they're offering, but definitely can't be anywhere near that amount. That's a smack in the face.
Here is what you also seem to forget. Remember back last year, not so long ago, Lio Rush went on this big Twitter rampage saying how broke he was.
Yeah.
Remember that one?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's why I didn't understand. He was saying all that, but then at the same time, he's saying that he wanted to get fired. Let him go. He wanted to go.
Because if somebody's not paying you what you feel you're owed or worth, and you're broke and you eat,
now were they? Because then that's the other controversy. Some of these wrestlers came out and said that no, he was getting paid. That he's just blowing his money on shit.
Well, I don't know people's personal lives.
That's what I'm saying. We don't know. I don't know. All I know is that they do pay people. I mean, they are making some money. They're not making lowball indie money. They are making decent money. What was it? I think it was starting. Was it 50 for NXT talent?
Well, it's not anymore.
Or it's something like that. I know, but then they do get bumps for merch sales. Yeah, NXT is a lower pay, but obviously because they're not doing all the traveling, and so they're not getting that type of money. But regardless, yeah, it probably wasn't good. Who knows? Spent his money, whatever. But
I don't know.
We'll just have to wait and see what happens on that one. All right, so What is... Oh, anybody else got anything to say with this? I know Ricky jumped in. Rich, you got anything to say about this with Leo?
Just one last thing I will say is I actually agree with him that I don't like that there was some people that actually were fired. And as far as Leo Rush is concerned, I mean, he does have 2 kids. Drake Maverick doesn't have any kids. So that is a difference that if you're wondering, we could say he definitely spending his money, but it definitely is also expensive to have kids as well. Mm-hmm. So I definitely want to add that, but I agree that I'm not really a fan of that being used as a storyline because there are other people that legitimately got fired, and they'll have all type of interviews where I'm pretty sure they're going to be talking about that experience. Because I did see Eric Rowan is going to be on a podcast soon talking about his departure, and the first thing I saw, the headline was that he said WWE never believed in me. So I can't wait to hear what that interview was like.
Well, you know who also has kids.
All right. So Dana, number 3, last one. Then we get into
number 3. It's about my all-time favorite wrestler. Yay, Bobby Lashley.
Whoop whoop.
Basically, people are kind of wondering why all of a sudden MVP is essentially his manager now. And it seems that Paul Heyman wanted to give him a mouthpiece. WWE, you remember the whole storyline between the Lana and Lashley story that seemed to be really big and controversial, and everyone was angry, and now all of a sudden they've forgotten about it and walked away from it? Well, it seems that they are going to have a feud between Lashley and McIntyre that will continue beyond Backlash and into the July pay-per-view, which will be SummerSlam. If SummerSlam, remember, there's kind of like the rumor whether or not SummerSlam will occur this July or they'll have to postpone it. But they're saying that they're expecting to be this huge match between Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley. And that's why MVP, who was originally, remember, a producer on the show, is just going to be like the mouthpiece and not going to be producing the shows anymore.
Now, I don't see any issue here, and I think there's more to it than a lot of people know, because MVP was part of a group with Bobby Lashley, the Destroyer, over in Impact. So they already had a good run doing this similar gimmick. So I just see them saying, hey, we can port this over. And the whole thing with Lana, I think we all agree, we knew that was going to come to an end once Rusev was gone. There's no point. Why are they going to keep giving her a push in this direction? It's not needed. It's run its course. The whole point of it was to keep doing the feud with Rusev, which, whatever, it ran into the ground. Didn't happen to whatever point that they want. I thought it was done with, but for some reason Vince wanted to keep dragging this out. So, and also, there's a few other things with MVP. MVP lives in Florida, which is where the Performance Center is. So he is local. It's not so much of, I have to travel, I got to do this stuff. So it works out in his favor. And he's a great talent. And he also doesn't have a bad history with WWE. Remember, he left on his own. He wasn't fired. When he left before, he left. It was just his own call. So it's a combination of things. He's a good guy all around. So I see this as a plus. I see all of this working in his favor. And again, it's not. I don't think it was like, oh, well, we need just a mouthpiece and we'll just grab him. They did an amazing job. People need to watch that. There was a few other members of that group over in Impact. And I'm pretty sure they're just going to go through that whole segment that they did from there and bring that over. Because it was very, very popular at the time. So I'm cool with this. Richard, what about you? What do you think about all this?
Yeah, I mean, I know that when Drew McIntyre won the belt, there was a lot of reports talking about, that WWE was very interested in the opponents that they were lining up for Drew McIntyre to face. And of course, he had...
in most cases.
Hold on.
Nope. Someone's talking.
Oh, yeah. No, so he already had his little match with Seth Rollins. Now they're going in a different direction with Seth Rollins. So, I mean, the whole thing about Bobby Lashley is that when Bobby Lashley came back, I much like you, I thought that we were going to eventually have a Bobby Lashley Brock Lesnar match.
Well,
And
he says that's in his contract. Lashley says he has it in his contract to have a match with
oh,
Brock.
really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Now, this is the thing, though. This is my little prediction, real quick, to tie into what you just brought up.
Yeah.
If this is the route that Bobby Lashley is going to be doing the whole feud with McIntyre, let's say he wins. Whether it's shady, MVP gets involved, whatever. Dirty finish. Doesn't matter. He wins. He gets the belt. Then they can set up where Brock comes back and says, hey, I'm entitled to a rematch, whoever's a champ. Now he wants to go against Bobby Lashley. Now we see that match. That match is going to happen. They can hype that up with their MMA background and the whole thing, and how Bobby Lashley has a better record than he does. So they can go through that whole thing and run its course. Who knows? Then maybe Brock wins the title back if that does happen. Then we will, hopefully by then, all this is over with the current issues, and we could have big arenas filled with people again, and then they can redo Brock versus McIntyre for the title.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I did hear. I mean, there have been reports that the plan is to get Brock back for SummerSlam with or without a crowd present, since that is one of their main pay-per-views of the 4 that they have every single year. But I don't know how accurate that is. All I want to say is, I'm not really, I'm not mad if you decide to put the belt on Bobby Lashley, but I do think that Drew McIntyre, you need to give this guy a decent run, because he should have already had this opportunity where he won that title a long time ago.
Yeah.
But it seems that they're always off with the timing. And
man,
of course,
but you know, if they go the extra mile and put a package together to hype up the Bobby Lashley and the McIntyre, and we already heard the sob story from McIntyre. Bobby Lashley's one is even sadder.
Oh yeah,
with a lot of stuff that's relevant now with the racism, he experienced that firsthand during his first run, and that is why he quit. Because of certain people that are currently still employed there and creative saying some racist shit about him. And basically saying where he had to stay in his place, and he knew he was better than that, and he is. And he left, and he became, MMA star. He became a big time wrestler over in Impact, one of the top guys. He proved it, and it worked to the point that Vince was like, "Yeah, whenever we can, we want him back." Mm-hmm. And he did come back, and he made some stipulations. He said it. The ball was in his court. TNA still wanted him, but he had the choice, and he made some demands. And from what we were understanding, the way he describes it, it was at least to have within, I don't know how many years his contract is, but within that time to have a match with Brock. Because here's another little thing that I don't know if a lot of people know. Bobby Lashley is very good friends with Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
He is very good friends with him. And so they already agreed that this would be a money match. Everybody would definitely want to see it.
And considering that Heyman is the executive producer of Monday Night Raw now, he would have full control over what happens between both him and Lesnar. So it like I said, that makes sense. Yep. But I definitely feel bad for Drew McIntyre, because
it's the timing. It's definitely the timing. The current situations going on in the world that don't look favorable to his long reign, because there's other things that they can do. They mess up as it sounds, but we've seen it on online and other. Some outlets are capitalizing on some of the harshness that's going on in this world. And I don't put it past Vince to try to capitalize on that. But it depends, like I just mentioned, how far they want to go back with building up this package deal and this feud. Because if they do, they could easily bring that up. If they ask him, it's like, hey, you had it bad, you left. He's like, yeah, you know why I left? Because, there was some racism shit going on here, and I knew I needed to leave. But I don't know if they would go that route, because certain people that were involved in that are still employed there and still have say. So they won't really go too far, but I'm sure they will bring up the fact that he did have a long title. Not a long time, but he had a long stint in the company. Same thing. Never had his big title shot. He went over to the ECW when they did the reboot, and that was the only title he really had of relevance when he became the ECW champ. Yeah. And then he got injured, and then he decided that he didn't even want to come back. He was just tired of the whole thing. And that was it. But, he's deserving. I don't care, Dana, I know you don't like him, but he is. I feel that you haven't seen the full potential Just like we with a lot of these wrestlers that show up, we don't see them. Vince puts them in a little box. He sees them how he wants to see his toys. You know what I mean? It's like when you get like a Barbie or a GI Joe figure, and sometimes people want to put outfits on them and be like, yeah, no, I want this guy to look like Snake Eyes' brother, and I'm gonna put this outfit cover his face and do his stuff. That's not how it was intended. Why are you doing it? No, that's what I want, and that's Vince. He grabs these wrestlers and he plays with them like toys. Like, no, you're gonna do this. This is the role. We saw it with Brody Lee. You know, it's like, you're gonna do this, but I can talk. Yeah, that's nice. Listen, you're gonna do this. Wear this dirty T-shirt, all right, and never talk and just look crazy out. Can you do that? You know, and that's it. And it's really up to the performer if they agree to it, and then if they're fortunate enough to get something written in their contract that they don't have to abide by that. And according to the way Bobby Lashley's advertised, there's certain things that he did get in this contract, and I'm assuming it's not so much a creative control because Vince doesn't do that. And if that was the case, I think he would have had a better experience, Bobby Lashley, when he first came back, instead of doing all the BS that he was doing. Remember with the triathlon thing that he was doing with Sami Zayn and stuff? That was...
And he dressed... Remember the sisters?
Yeah, and the sisters, yeah, that would be bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so cringe.
You know, but he said, hey, he's got in his contract that he will have a legit match with Brock. A legit match, not a squash, not something that's, oh yeah, we agreed to, all right, we're going to do some weird shit. So we'll see. We'll see if they do it proper. And that's it. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm thinking positive. I don't want to see Drew pay the price for whatever could happen. Well, but I do want Bobby Lashley to get his time to shine.
No.
So let me just make one quick comment, and then I'll be curious to hear what Ricky has to say. If Drew McIntyre loses that belt, there's only one of two things I think you need to do with Drew McIntyre after that. You have this whole thing where he gets injured and he has to, I guess, take a month off or so, and then he could come back and have a rematch against Brock or whoever the champion is at that point. Or you have to turn this guy heel, because this is a guy that is obviously a babyface right now, but to lose the belt that quick and then the crowd wasn't even there when he won it, I kind of feel like something has to happen with the character after that if he loses in this particular circumstance. But again, that's just my opinion. We'll see what happens.
What do you think, Ricky?
Well, I mean, I think that it would be kind of messed up. Like, it'd be kind of messed up if WWE's answer to the Black Lives Matter movement is to put their heel as a champion, because now you're not presenting Bobby Lashley as this positive force. You're still presenting him as a heel, and you're still representing a black man as a bad guy. That's not how you want to go about it. And it's like, the thing is, they've already gotten this forward momentum with pairing him up with MVP. You know, they're getting Lashley into the main event scene, which I think is appropriate. I think he belongs there. I just think, though, that, again, Drew McIntyre just won the belt, 2 months ago?
Yeah.
And in the main event of WrestleMania, I think it would be a mistake to have Drew drop it so soon. I think, but the only other thing, though, that makes it a little complicated, okay, is that you want Drew to be able to be appreciated by a crowd as a champion. And it's like you've missed that moment at WrestleMania because of everything that happened with the pandemic and all that. So how do you get a chance to kind of get a do-over would be to have Drew chase the belt again. But the thing is, when do you do that? And it's uncertain. It's just like if you have Drew drop the belt now, you don't know how long it's going to be until he'll get that chance to get that pop for winning the belt. You don't know how long it's going to be. It could be at SummerSlam. It could be at Survivor Series. It could be next year. You don't know. So it's like, for now, I think the safe thing to do is to keep Drew with his run, just maybe have a screwy finish, and so to keep that program with him and Bobby Lashley going. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that you do any kind of double turn just because of what's happening today. I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Or they throw in a real monkey wrench, and that is bring Roman Reigns back as a heel. And have him be the bad guy that interferes in that match, and then that will instantly turn Bobby babyface, because then he would be like, hey, what are you doing? This is my time to shine. This is my shot. You cost me that shot. And he's like, I don't give a shit about you because I'm the Emperor, Roman Reigns. Oh my God. And there you go. There you go. Fantasy booking. All right, cool. There we go.
Can I just say one thing?
Oh, all right.
Just real quick. For those who don't know, it is the 16th anniversary of Impact.
What?
Impact.
Impact Wrestling.
Come on now. It's not the same program. It's not TNA Impact. This is just Impact. This is a completely different show.
They've been on air for 16 years. Whatever the name change or the channel change or the YouTube or the phone use.
Or the whole roster. No, sorry.
Going on for 16 years.
It's not flying with me. It's not flying.
They announced it.
I don't care. Of course, they're going to try to get any kind of momentum they can. But that's like saying that, well, which was the NWA Power. NWA's been around forever, really, but it's not under the same management. It hasn't been consistent. God. No, I don't count.
You can the poop out of everything.
I'm not. What do you mean out of everything? I'm just pointing the facts. I don't see it. I don't see it.
Still existing.
I don't see it. I don't think it's a bad product. I like the Impact. I like the fact that I could see Sabu again and Rob Van Dam. That brings happiness in my life.
See, now we're getting to the real reason why Adam is so positive about Impact.
That's it. Yeah, I mean those are my two favorite wrestlers over there right now. So there you go. All right, so now we'll all bend the knee and thank God that we had 16 years of Impact.
Stop. Leave us the X Division. Stop. And Samoa.
Yeah, exactly. Those guys are not there and haven't been for a long time since they switched brands when they returned from there. So nope. Sorry. Nope. I'm not pouring a little bit out from my. Nope. Sorry, not happening. All right. So now here we go. NXT in your house. This is the show we've all been waiting for. Maybe not, but it's a good card. There's a lot of good matches on this. And we'll start with the first one. Everybody ready? You ready? This is it.
Yes.
Tommaso Ciampa, Karrion Kross, a.k.a. Killer Kross, the big man, with his girl Scarlett. Two things I wonder. It's just a singles match, but is he going to come down with that crazy intro where she's going to lip sync? Because that's nuts, if that's going to happen. And two, are they going to make him a monster? He looks like a monster. That's how he's always been when he was over in Impact as a monster. So if that's the case, he's got to destroy Ciampa, right? So, Rich, you start off. What do you think is going to happen in this match?
Well, I know we've heard when this guy initially signed with NXT or WWE in general, we heard he was going to get a monster push. Probably may not spend too much time in NXT, may get moved up at some point. Obviously not right away because they have to establish the character first. So, I think Karrion Kross is definitely going to win. To answer your question, will he have an excellent intro from his girlfriend Scarlett? Absolutely. Do I think he's going to absolutely destroy Tommaso Ciampa? Possibly, yes. I mean, I would have preferred a competitive matchup because he's been tearing through the people that they have given him so far. But it's going to be a good matchup, no doubt about it. But yeah, Karrion Kross definitely will. He's going to beat the hell out of Tommaso Ciampa.
Well,
I mean, I think we know that.
Yeah, and I don't think they're going to pull a Cody situation like what we saw at that last AEW show when they try to give a big push to somebody up and coming.
Oh, you talking about Jungle Boy?
No. Over the other one, the big dude that.
Yeah. Lance Archer.
Yeah, Lance Archer. That really pissed me off. That you give him such a big push and that type of finish. Come on now, let the boy shine. You got a great mouthpiece with Jake the Snake. Just let him shine a little bit. So,
yeah. I mean, when you see, even when you saw when Karrion Kross made his debut, this guy, they have a lot behind this guy. They're making him out to be a big deal. So he is going to win the match, but I am curious, as you said, to see if it's going to be a straight up squash. I don't believe it's going to be a squash match, but it's definitely going to be a dominant performance, I would say.
Because, I mean, think about it. He's going against Ciampa. Ciampa was the man for a while before he got hurt. He's still looking out to try to get Goldie again.
Oh, yeah.
And so to put him in this match, especially with this big title, this big signing that they have, it's going to be competitive. That's for sure. It's not going to be a squash match, but I do see Cross winning. I just don't see how, if you're going to build him up and then just have Tommaso Ciampa win, whether it's a clean finish or a dirty finish, how does that help the character?
Yeah.
Unless WWE goes its old cheesy route, which we all hate, especially on pay-per-view events, which are DQs. If they pull a DQ on this one, it's to quote Jim Ross, they pull a slobber knocker match, and this is awesome. We're going to see a lot of craziness happen, and then it's a DQ finish. Nothing gets resolved. No one moves up. Nothing happens. No, we don't want that. We want to finish.
Yeah.
But everything's pointing because of the presentation and what we know about what they're doing. We're crossing his future plans. He's going to win this. He's going over on this one. What about you, Ricky? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Killer Cross, Karrion Cross, Criss Cross, whatever you want to call him.
Jump! Oh yeah, jump! Let me put my shorts on backwards.
Yeah. No, he's gotta go over in this match. They're presenting him as a big deal, and as their latest big signing. Ciampa's already established. He's been with the brand for a long time. He's here to help put Cross over. And I think it'll be a competitive match where there'll be a few times where Ciampa will have a chance to win, and maybe he, does a mistake that costs him. I actually think that Cross will win, and I think it'll probably be with Cross uses maybe I'm not paying attention as much as I should, but he uses a submission move, right?
Yeah.
So he'll probably just make Ciampa pass out.
Which is funny for a big man, because you would think they would give him a crazy power move, like with Cage coming back, doing that devastating, what were they? I forgot what they called it, but it's like a power bomb into a tombstone, a pile driver. It looks, it's such a devastating move. But usually that's what you think of a big man. They're gonna do a big power move, but no, it's a submission. So
yeah, I think Cross will win. I think we'll get that big over the top entrance that he has. And Ciampa will look good in defeat. That's just how I see it.
All right. Dana, what about you? What do you think is gonna happen?
Here is the thing for me is that I feel that not Ciampa, Tommaso has to win.
You think it's going to be a clean win, or is he going to do a dirty win? Because it only makes sense. If he does win, it's a dirty win.
Well, no. The thing is that here's the thing. He is coming in as a big, huge threat, right? And you can't have him lose the match. And it doesn't make sense for him to lose by a DQ or anything else. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make any sense. So I see him winning cleanly.
Cross. Yeah. I thought you said you wanted Ciampa to win.
No, Cross.
Okay. All right. So we all agree. We see Killer Cross winning this. Yeah. All right. It just doesn't make sense. But it just throws me off. I see that it's a quality match, especially with Ciampa. I want Ciampa on the card. But at a quick glance, even for somebody who follows some of this wrestling, at least knows who Cross is and sees what they're doing, and then takes a look at this match like, oh, it's obvious he's gonna win. He's getting his big push. He's a big man now. This is it. They're feeding Tommaso Ciampa to him, which some people may get upset by that, but I don't think it's gonna be like that. I think it's gonna be a competitive match with some surprises, and hopefully it's a good finish. But regardless, I think we all agree Cross is gonna come out on top for this match. All right, so match number 2 is a triple threat for the women's title, NXT champion. That's the champion Charlotte Flair versus Ridley Scott, and Io Shirai.
Ridley Scott.
Yes, from Aliens. From Aliens. Because that's what she reminds me of. She reminds me from Aliens, yeah. Yeah, Rhea Ripley. You don't see that? Like, that's the first thing I saw with the outfit and with the hair. I'm like, this is it. You're from Aliens. This is it. If they were going to reboot the Alien franchise, she would be playing the main lead again. She would be Ripley. I'm sorry. That's how I see it. It works for me. I just needed her to come out for her WrestleMania moment with that big mech suit. You know, I'm here to get the alien. Get over here, Charlotte. That's how I see it. That's how I see it. All right, Ricky, let's start off. Who's going to win this one?
I think Charlotte will retain.
All right, that's the wrong answer. Oh, Rich.
Oh.
Really, man? You think Charlotte's going to retain?
I think Charlotte's going to retain because I don't think that they're going to have her just drop it right away. This is really, if you think about it, this whole triple threat, it's really about Ripley versus Io, because those two have been going at it. That's really what it's all about. It's like it's going to be Charlotte going to retain, and it's going to lead to Rhea versus Io in their own match at some point. Well, yeah.
Okay. What about you, Rich?
So let me just say this: when Charlotte had her first title defense against Io Shirai, and that ended the way it did, I was very disappointed in the way that ended, because then you had Rhea Ripley show up, and then the week after that, Rhea Ripley had a match with Io Shirai that ended in a no contest because there was interference once again. So I don't want this match to end in interference. I want it to be a clean finish. I think Ricky, I hate to say it, but I think Ricky is on to the idea of Charlotte winning, even though I would prefer to see Io Shirai win the match. Yeah, it makes sense for Charlotte to win because in theory, when Io Shirai earned this title match, she had her singles match, and that ended the way it ended in disqualification. So she didn't really have a real singles match. And Rhea Ripley had her singles match against Charlotte and lost at WrestleMania. So this is why it'll be an exciting match because it's a triple threat. But I feel like Charlotte will lose that belt when she has a one-on-one matchup with somebody. So unfortunately, I have to say, Charlotte will probably retain, but I would prefer Io Shirai winning just as a shock because it'll be totally different. People wouldn't think that she was going to actually win this match.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Dana, what about you?
This is actually a complicated one. First of all, I don't even know why Charlotte is here. So, boo. To me, this is between Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai. I think this is going to be a wonderful match regarding those two. Charlotte's okay too. She's a great technical wrestler. We all love her, yay, except for me.
That's great.
All right.
It's still for me that Ripley has to retain. Hopefully by getting the pin on Flair, just because we get her out the way and she's no longer a factor anymore. So she goes wherever she goes. But the competition, I really, really, really want this to be between Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai. I don't care between those two who wins, but I feel that Rhea Ripley just might be the one who ends up winning it back. So, final answer.
All right, so I think Shirai is going to win this one. And the only reason why is because if I go based off of the rumors that we hear from these dirt sheets that she's the next to be called up, it just makes sense. Because what they've said with this title is that it can be defended anywhere. Right? That was the whole thing with Charlotte popping up over here and showing up on SmackDown, obviously, with the title and making it seem like, well, I can do whatever I want. And this is how they could bring Shirai up there. She can go and start competing on that level, and she has the title.
So then what? Charlotte stays in NXT?
No, Charlotte doesn't belong to NXT. Remember, she's She's SmackDown.
Why is she here?
She's here because she has the title. It's an NXT title. It's an NXT event.
So then everyone's just floating around, and it doesn't really matter anymore.
Well, no, it doesn't. No, it really doesn't. It really doesn't. But on this level, it sort of makes sense because it is an NXT title, women's title, on an NXT pay-per-view. It all makes sense. She is just not official NXT talent, but it doesn't matter. That's not how this works anymore. Because remember, she had the right to challenge anybody she wanted for the title, and she challenged Ripley for it, and she won. So she can go back there. She will lose it, and then she'll just go back to SmackDown. And then
this is for the proof. Charlotte doesn't need to be here. I don't know why she's here.
So,
can I just make a quick comment and say, I also agree. I don't really know why Charlotte is there because I think it was about a week or so, they had her in a match on Raw to determine who was going to face Asuka for a title shot. And Charlotte already is the NXT champion, so why was she even in that match? It makes no kind of sense.
Yes.
I feel like Charlotte is good enough. She doesn't need the belt. But, I mean, again, this is one of Vince's biggest superstars right now. So I guess they're going to continue to push that narrative. But one last point I wanted to make as a case as to why it will be good if Charlotte does not retain. There are a lot of women that they're building up in NXT. You saw that, Candice LeRae, which we'll get into later, is now a heel. You have Chelsea Green, who is a heel. They're trying to do something with that character. So there are heels they're building up who can eventually challenge for that title, including Dakota Kai.
Yeah, who's also on the card, yeah.
So it kind of makes sense for a babyface to have the belt like Rhea Ripley. But again, I don't know which direction they're going to take, but it is going to be a good match. I will say that much. It's going to be an exciting match, so I look forward to that, but I have no idea how that's going to go, and I just keep thinking Charlotte's going to retain, but I would love to be proven wrong.
And the only reason why I don't throw Ripley as an option to win this is because she's been open about wanting to go home. Through this whole thing that's happened, she has not been able to travel back to Australia to see her family. So I'm sure she's dying to get back there just for at least to take some time off. So I don't see her getting this title, and then it's like, all right, now we're going to put you on all these other shows and this and that. Nah. So she needs to take a break. She needs that break, needs to go home for a little bit. Once, hopefully by then, things are lifted and she can have the opportunity.
This also is what I'm saying also. I don't have a problem with the person Charlotte at all. My issue is with the booking. They have 18,100 women, and I am seeing the same women every single week to the point where you get a Charlotte and it means nothing to me. She's won everything there is to win. It means nothing anymore. So they need to start recycling who's going to be at the top because it's boring.
Oh, damn. All right. There's Dana's sound off. It's boring. All right. So match number 3. This is Finn Balor versus friend of the show, Damian Priest. Singles match. I'm biased, so I'm going with Priest. He wins. Doesn't matter. He kicks his ass. That's it. Rich, what do you think? Yeah, that's right. I said it.
So I will say this. I'm pretty sure Ricky will chime in on this as well. I love how Damian Priest just attacks people with the nightstick now. Every time I see it, I laugh when I see it.
He needs to come out to Ride It Dirty. That should be his new song. And he just starts swinging that stick. Pow, pow, it's riding dirty. But the bad are riding dirty. Pow, 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 pow.
Yeah, but this is what I will say. I think the match is going to be another good match. It's a match I am looking forward to. If I recall correctly, Damian Priest has already cost Finn Balor a victory in his match against Cameron Grimes.
Yeah.
So for that reason, I'm expecting Finn Balor to get the payback in this match. But again, I wouldn't really have a problem if they decided to give Damian Priest the win. However, I will say this.
He needs the win. He hasn't had a big win.
Yeah, no, you're right. He hasn't had a big win. And this could be a feud that continues on NXT TV after, afterward. But I will say this. If Finn Balor loses, I kind of feel like it's going to be because, he still hasn't. His feud with Walter is put on hold because of what's going on right now. So I kind of feel like that's the match everybody is waiting to see as far as Finn Balor is concerned. So I wouldn't, I kind of, if he loses, I want it to be because Walter shows up and causes him to lose. But at the same time, it's good to have, but it is good to have Damian Priest win cleanly. But we'll see what happens. I think it all depends what the long-term plans are, how close it is to his feud with Walter.
Well, Damian Priest is a heel, so it's definitely not going to be a clean win. He's going to use that stick again. There's no doubt. The man, I mean, he can go. He's an amazing performer, but for the character and what they're doing with him, he's going to cheat. And so he does. I see him winning this, but he's going to cheat. And that way it still makes Finn Balor look strong. And like you said, until that feud can continue with Walter. So, all right, Dana, what about you? Friend of the show, Damian Priest, or the guy Finn Balor?
Finn Balor or the Damian of the Priest?
Yeah.
I want Damian Priest to win. I think it's fun. I think it's refreshing. Yeah. I miss Demon Balor, but
too much makeup, too expensive, takes too much time.
Well, he doesn't know makeup. There you go.
Because I remember that was an issue that he said, because he doesn't do it himself. They have to hire a professional body artist to do it. Wherever he travels, they have to locate one. And I'm sure that's not an issue, but currently, right now, current situations, I think that sort of breaks certain rules to start doing. So I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, you already know by that phone call they break rules.
Whoa, slow your roll. Listen, he also said that he's the prince, so he's going based off of that. And during that time, he did not wear all the makeup.
Okay, so the prince and the priest.
The prince and the priest, there you go.
I'm still going with the priest and his nightstick.
Okay, all right, that's good.
Just because, it just seems like it makes more sense. And either way, I think this is going to be a really fun match.
Yeah.
That might be a cue.
Yep, I think so too. All right, Ricky. What's up?
You guys convinced me. I would say, even before the show, I was thinking it was going to be Finn Balor. But Priest is due a big win. And he already had a feud with Keith Lee where he tried to win with the nightstick and it didn't work out. But I think it's going to work this time for him. Finn Balor is established enough that he could survive a loss like this and still be relevant, going into a program with Walter. I'm sorry?
I was saying that he already has proof with losing, so he'll be fine.
Yeah, this is true. Damian Priest definitely needs a major win, and I think this qualifies for that. So, we'll say Damian Priest wins via the nightstick.
There we go. I'm sure Damian Priest will give us a thumbs up on that one. That's right. All right, next one, match number 4. This is going to be a good one. I'm looking forward to this one out of all the matches on this card. Adam Cole, champ, versus Velveteen Dream. This is the last chance backlot brawl. And the stipulation here is that if Velveteen Dream loses, he can no longer challenge for the NXT champion as long as Adam Cole is still the champion. So this is where we could add our little star asterisk next to this because of the current situation that we do know, not the rumors. Adam Cole's contract with WWE ends in a few months, in August. So, as we know, WWE likes to get a feel of what's going to happen with talent, if they need to bury you now, or do they keep trying to push you forward? If you're going to re-sign, we keep pushing. If not, you will be slipping further down to the bottom until you sign the dotted line. We've seen this in the past with all the other talent, a lot of which have already gone now. So that changes everything. Because on one hand, if let's say that wasn't the case, Adam Cole baby wins. He keeps it. That's it. But with this whole thing going on with his contract, whether he's going to sign, not going to sign, I personally think he will sign. It just makes more sense for him to sign. His position he's in a better position right now, wrestling career-wise. They're definitely going to throw money at him, which is also a plus. Yes, he could go elsewhere. He could go with his girlfriend over at AEW. But I don't think that's a thing that he really needs to do. Yeah, he has friends over there and that whole thing, but he would not be in the same position that he is now. That's the thing. Where is he going to go in that? He's not going to be the top guy. He's not going to be the top heel. They already have people for that. They already have Brody Lee that they brought in for that. They already had, I keep blanking on the dude's name, the one that went against Cody. That's with Jake the Snake. I mean, they have people to fill that role.
John.
Lance Archer.
Yeah, Archer. See, there you go. Lance Archer. I got to remember Archer like the show. So I don't. You see? So I don't see him as a good fit over there. Besides his girlfriend and he has friends, he's in a better position here. He's already established here. They like him here. He's not. He doesn't have to worry about a lot of things if he stays. So I do think he's going to sign. And if we also keep going with that, according to the dirt sheets, Velveteen Dream is next to be called up. That would definitely fit perfectly with all of what's going on with this match, because if he loses, obviously can't compete for the title. He's already had the North American title, so then there's nothing else for him to do here. So then he could easily just go up and leave, sort of like what they did with Riddle. So I'll just go real quick with this one. I'm just going to stick with my guns. I think Adam Cole is going to retain. I think Adam Cole is going to re-sign with WWE. He is their face. They like him. They really do. Triple H loves the guy. He sees a lot of good things in him, so they're not going to do him wrong. And Velveteen will lose, and he'll move up. And sort of like the old saying, I think it's Bruce Pritchard always says it. It's like, you don't need the belt. You only put the belt on someone when you're trying to make them shine. Velveteen already shines. He was over. He was over with the crowd without a belt. You know, people singing along with him, people loving his gimmick. It doesn't matter. Win, lose, draw, it doesn't matter. People love seeing him perform. So he's okay. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. So I say Adam Cole wins. All right, what about you, Dana?
I do not believe in my heart that Velveteen Dream will be okay when he calls up. I think now, because there is fans, that it'll be all right because there's things in writing has to change. But once there are fans allowed back again and we get back to normal, they will ruin this man, and they will have him basically as the next EC3.
Whoa! Wait, so what is it that you don't think that they will accept? You think it's going to be his flamboyant character? You think they're not going to like that character? Or
I don't trust Vince with I just don't trust him at all with this character. We've seen plenty of times where we had wonderful talent in NXT, Bobby Roode, and they go to the big SmackDown or the Raw, and they end up doing what? The 24, 67, 92 title.
Yeah, no, it ruins them. It ruins them. It definitely ruins them.
Ruins
but they can't stay here forever, even though it is a brand. That's still not the plan. They always want to just take these characters and then move them up to freshen up the main one, because that's where they make their money.
And I know that. And it still can make me sad that, they're going to lose the greatness that is Velveteen Dream.
Yeah. Oh, well, I think if anything, they should hold off. Even if he does get called up, he's one of those wrestlers that needs a crowd. He needs a crowd, because if he just comes out doing his little poses and stuff, it doesn't go over well when there's no one in the audience. It just doesn't look right. Does not look right. So they need to hold off.
Awkward silence.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, all right. So what about you, Rich? What do you think's gonna happen?
I never finished anything.
You did. You said Velveteen Dream is gonna win because you want him to stay in NXT.
About why Velveteen Dream shouldn't be called up.
So
I technically didn't even give a prediction.
Oh man, you were something else.
Amplify voices. Now who is he? He was against Adam Cole, baby, who is not going to AEW, and I don't even see why that would be a thing. Serious now. I think between these two, it is going to be Velveteen. But it'll be a great match.
And that's what I said. Did I not say that? You made it clear that you wanted Velveteen to win this.
I was making a statement about Velveteen and why I didn't want him to be called up.
Damn.
Not the prediction of the match.
The
second part was the prediction of the match.
Okay.
Yeah.
Put the knife down. All right. So, Rich, what do you think? What's going to happen?
Okay, first and foremost, I agree with what has already been said. Adam Cole is definitely going to stay with WWE because Triple H and Vince are going to give him an offer that he can't refuse. I mean, this is the leader of the Undisputed Era. So if this guy was to go to AEW, I think the Undisputed Era is over.
Yeah,
you know, unless
over. He's not going to be in that same top spot. He's a top guy now. He's a top heel of
They
a
don't need
faction.
him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's one thing. As for who was going to win the match, this is a tough one because I feel like when you throw in the stipulation that the Velveteen Dream will not get another title match as long as Adam Cole is champion, that kind of gives me a hint. Adam Cole might be dropping this belt soon. If he doesn't lose it to Velveteen Dream, he could lose it afterwards. And that also plays into something else we didn't discuss, which is that on this past week of NXT, they made it very clear that Dexter Lumis is also involved in this because they had him do that whole illustration of what he think is going to happen in that match, and it was a caricature of him driving off with the Undisputed Era.
That's Ricky's boy. Ricky, that's your boy. So you think he's going to help out Velveteen in this one?
I mean, he'll probably prevent it so that there's no interference by
Undisputed
Era, yeah, because it is a backlot brawl, and I'm pretty sure they are going to try to get involved in this match. But I would think, personally, because of the storyline that they have been trying to tell of Velveteen Dream, the fact that you remember whenever NXT started coming on USA, and there was that period where Velveteen Dream got attacked by Undisputed Era and was off TV with the whole injury angle, and then he came back. He had his little feud with Roderick Strong, but he never really had a long-standing feud with Adam Cole until now. So I would think to end off the feud, it would make sense for him to win this match, also because of the stipulation. But again, it's tough because there's other factors to consider. But I don't know, man. If I had to give a pick right now, I probably would say Velveteen Dream. I have to give him a little bit of an advantage, but Adam Cole is too close to call. Yeah. So we'll see. But let's see what Ricky has to say, because he may convince me otherwise of my decision.
All right, Ricky.
Yes, I do think that Dexter Lumis is going to get involved. Undisputed Era is going to get involved. It's going to be a whole crazy thing. But I think that Dexter Lumis is going to cost Velveteen Dream.
Oh, really?
And start a feud with him. And that's how Adam Cole retains. That's my prediction.
Okay, that could happen.
I also think that Adam Cole will stay. He'll re-sign with WWE. This is all this, and Britt Baker is in on it because I do think that that's a way of gaining leverage.
Oh yeah, bargaining.
Be like, hey, he might just come and work with me in AEW. That's how you go to the negotiation table and get that bigger deal. I think that Cole will stay. I think that he will drop the belt at a later time, but I think that this whole thing with the stipulation of Dream will not. It's very particular. Yeah. That if he loses, he cannot get a chance at the belt as long as Cole has it.
Mm-hmm.
So that tells me that Dream will get another shot when someone else takes the belt off of Cole. But it's not going to be Dream, and I think that Dexter Lumis, I don't know, man. Like his gimmick just screams heel, and it threw me off guard when he was helping Dream.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, what's this fascination he has with him? I think we're about to find out.
I want you.
And so
that's my prediction.
So I just want to throw a quick question since Ricky brought it up when you said that. So Adam Cole is going to retain. How do y'all feel about Karrion Kross being the one to take that belt off of Adam Cole?
Too soon.
Well, no, not now. I'm not talking about now. But who is the person that you think is going to take the belt off of Adam Cole when that time comes?
I'm not going to give that away just yet.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I do know. Sorry, I do know, and we'll get to that if everybody's done. Next match, and this is what ties in with that. Keith Lee, right? North American Champion versus Johnny Gargano. So this is for that title, North American title. Keith Lee is champ. He's been the champ for a while, holding his title. So for me, this is going to be an amazing match. But we already see with the repackaging, another attempt trying to make Gargano a heel with his wife. First attempt they tried, that failed. So they're going about it again. I still don't see him as a heel. I'm sorry. Or as well. I just don't see it. But they keep trying to do it. So I just try to put more, again, like what Pritchard said, it's like when you put a title on somebody, just put the spotlight, he will take this title. Now he's a heel with a title. He could do that whole thing. And then that leaves Keith Lee free to go and challenge Adam Cole, because then let's say the following Wednesday, Adam Cole comes out, I did it, I won, baby, I did it all, blah, 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 blah. And then Keith Lee comes out. What about me? What about me? There you go. You know, Mr. Smooth. Yeah, if anybody saw that movie.
Versus Limitless.
Yes, and you bring him out, and there you go. That's the matchup. We put Keith Lee in there. I mean, Dijak, that's another one who's not on his card, but word is because he's already being packaged to be moved up. He's good.
Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, so there goes that. But Keith Lee, I think he's going to stick around for a while. And I could see him as the next person to go up for Adam Cole. He wins it. This brings back Velveteen, and then they can go from there. Because then Velveteen is now back in the picture by the time Adam Cole and Keith Lee are feuding. We got Loomis and Velveteen doing their feud that can, ride out for who knows how long until they decide, okay, we're going to push Velveteen up again. We're going to push Keith Lee, get the title from Cole, and there we go. So that's it. But I think, because this will be quick, but it's going to be a solid match, but I do think Gargano's going to win. Probably his wife is going to help. It's going to be a dirty finish, but he's going to steal that title from Keith Lee. All right, what about you, Ricky?
Yeah, I basically agree with everything you said. That I think that this will be the time for Keith Lee to. He's had a great run with the North American Championship, but you've got a worthy contender with Gargano. He's already last time Gargano had North American Championship, he was heel as well. But I think they're going to try to go a little bit more aggressive with it. I think that both Mia Yim and Candice LeRae will get involved on the outside, but Gargano will find a way to get it, and that'll open up Keith Lee to eventually take the belt off of Cole. That's my future prediction there. But right now, as of right now, I have this as an all-heel pay-per-view. So Gargano.
Yeah.
All right, Rich?
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much have to agree with the both of y'all. The way that they are repackaging Johnny Gargano now and Candice LeRae, I mean, you want to tell the story that this is a heel couple, but they're not just any heel couple. They have aspirations to be running NXT. This is why I was surprised that Gargano was going after the North American title and not the world title yet, but that's because Adam Cole is a heel and he has the NXT world title. So, and plus he's already had his feud with Johnny Gargano, so we don't need to see that again. So, it makes sense to go ahead and give him the belt now. Keith Lee is mega over, by far one of the biggest, best stars on the NXT brand right now. So I definitely could see him feuding with Adam Cole for that world title. I mean, I'm totally fine with that, and definitely the biggest babyface that they have now on that brand. So I'm totally fine with that if that's the decision that they decide to go with. If they decide to drag it out, though, Keith Lee could win and eventually lose the belt. I don't know if he needs to necessarily lose it this weekend, but it does seem to me like if they're going to have another takeover around SummerSlam, he might lose it at that point, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how that goes.
All right. Dana?
First of all, I just want to say how much I love Keith Lee. I watched that.
Main event? Saw him on main event. Did it make you happy?
Saw him on main event. It made me so happy. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, but it just really
it was good. It was good. My kids loved the movie. I liked it.
Good. It was cute, and he is very charismatic. He's good in anything that he does, and so I just love him. Yeah. I miss the crowds. Remember when he went and shoulder bumped Adam Cole into the audience, and that thing was amazing. Yeah. Anyway,
I wish he was my uncle. Thank you. All right, keep going. Yeah, I would love to have him in my family. I mean, right? Mary has,
Like,
I have a lot of sisters that are free. I mean, I'm sure we could try to hook him up. Just I know he's with Mia, but nothing lasts forever. All right, keep going.
Basically, the match was between. I believe that he needs to win any and everything, and so I would not mind him getting the belt. In regards to this match, I still again have to feel that he is going to retain the title. I think it's going to be a good match. Johnny Gargano, as you know, he can put on an excellent match as well. I just don't see Lee dropping the belt this soon. Maybe when I was going to say something as big as SummerSlam, but we don't know exactly where that's or how that's going to play out, given everything.
But the question, if he doesn't, though, then what do you see Gargano? Because the whole point of this is to build him up as a heel. If he loses this, what's next for Gargano?
Heels can lose.
It throws him in limbo because it definitely isn't going to throw him in a title picture again unless they decide to drag this out. Like
I'm odd that he's not called up by now.
He's not called up because he's too small. And that's the truth. I don't believe me. It's not me. It's not me. It's Vince. We know it. They all know it. They're not blind. They see what happens with small guys that get called up. It doesn't happen. Remember when they talked about calling him up? The first thing they did was put him on 205. That was their version of calling him up.
So why would they even have Velveteen be called up?
Velveteen is not small.
They had Ciampa and Gargano as part of that whole thing where it's like
when they were evading or doing that whole thing, yeah.
Well, I think it was like early last year when it was this whole thing of like, remember they kept showing promos of I'm drawing a blank here, but like
the tag
when
team,
they called
tag team.
No. It's they called up like 3 of the male NXT talent like right away, on top of some other ones. Like remember they were promoting
Ricochet.
They were promoting EC3. They were promoting Nikki Cross and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, I remember that stupid video package.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and then Ciampa and Gargano were just like one day all of a sudden they were up on Raw. Mm-hmm. Working together. This is when they were both champions. Like Ciampa was the NXT champion, Gargano was the North American champion, and they were also like they were working on the main roster. And I think it was rumors that Gargano was going to end up on 205.
He was in their tournament. They did like a tournament.
But then Ciampa got that injury.
Yeah.
Got the neck injury, and then that changed all those plans. And so now I think they're NXT for life, basically.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that Ciampa said is that he never wants to leave. He wants to stay in NXT. That's it. But he also knows that his time is limited due to all the injuries he's had to his neck. So he just prefers just to stay in NXT, and he's in a great position career-wise. He is a top guy in NXT. He's one of the top guys.
Yeah.
So when you see him retiring?
What?
Do you see him retiring before getting called up?
I don't see him ever getting called up because he doesn't want to get called up. And right now, there's no need for him to get called up. I don't see Vince banging on the door telling Triple H, we got to bring him up. That Ciampa guy. No. He likes the big men. He's not a big man, so there's no need for him. So he never has to worry about that. And that was one of the things Triple H had said openly. He's like, no, yeah, he wants to stay there. It's a brand now. It's not just a developmental territory. It's a brand. And if it's a brand, you need some established guys that are just there. So he's already lifted up his hand that he is established and that he is perfectly content with staying there. So I don't know if Gargano's in the same boat, but I know he already saw a little bit when he cracked open that door. Hey, can I go and play that? Yeah, at 205. Ooh, let's close this door. This ain't a good look. So he's in a better spot right now.
Well, let me just ask a quick question. I don't want to go off topic, but what do y'all think of NXT wanting to highlight these couple teams now? Because you have obviously Gargano and his wife, you have Karrion Kross and Scarlett, and now this thing with Keith Lee and Mia Yim,
Yeah.
because they made that part of the storyline as to why this match is happening now. So what do y'all think of them having these couple teams?
Back in my day, it was called tag team. You know.
Well, what do you mean? They still do those mixed tags, but
But they call it intergender matches.
Yeah, intergender.
Remember that whole thing? And it was on
Facebook. Yeah, whack. Keep going.
Logos and a handbasket.
It was whack.
It doesn't faze me because I grew up where men and women can wrestle together, and they even fought against each other.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, in my day that was just called dating. But let's just keep going. All right, so what's gonna happen? What's...
But do y'all think there are too many of those teams now in NXT? That's the question.
No, because this brings up fun parts when they do break up. Because now we know that there is some truth behind the story. So, like I said, nothing lasts forever. We know that. This is wrestling. Yeah. These things come and go. And eventually some of these relationships will crash and burn. And when that does, and I don't wish that on them. I don't wish that. I don't wish any of that. But if we go based off of this, it's very hard. And if you ever read Mick Foley's book, he even says it's very, very hard. Yeah, so it always happens. People get split up, get put on a different show. Now you're traveling, different schedule.
Cheat.
Remember when Charlotte got pissed off that she was going to be on Friday?
Exactly. And then not only that, it was during the same time when they were doing a shuffle that WWE actually pushed a little harder to make sure that they didn't break up any relationships.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They wanted to make sure everybody is like, all right, well, if you're serious, you're serious. This isn't a fling. No, it's not a fling. All right, so then we're not going to split you guys up. Because we've already seen too much of that type of stuff happen in the past. And, Batista wrote about it in a book and stuff. So it's out there. So, no, I think it's fine because if something does happen, it brings that emotional connection out from the fan to the characters. Because then you're like, oh, well, I know they're really dating. So if I start hearing, oh, this one's leaving or this one has been seen with this one and this and that. And it's like, oh, this picture's they're kissing or something. Oh, man. That's heartbreaking. And WWE probably says, hey, we can use this part of the storyline when it does happen. So why not promote it? So that's all. Anybody else got something to say on that?
Well, I mean, that kind of reminds me of when they used the whole thing between with Lita, with Edge and Matt Hardy.
Yeah.
They used that.
But that was forced. And they were forced to do that because of the crowd. The crowd made it very vocal that, hey, we know what you did. And they were chanting very mean things. Because people forget, it's a two-way street. Yeah. It wasn't all Lita's fault, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, Edge.
Yeah. Edge was the married man that, Lita did wrong, but she wasn't married to that.
Mm-mm. But I didn't like how they treated that whole story just in general. And how they made Lita to be the really bad person. And kind of just forgot that Edge had a whole wife.
Yeah, no, it's a cultural thing. It's a cultural thing.
And remember,
a man can be a man and be a playboy. If a woman tries to do that, well, we know what they call it.
She's a hoe.
Well, hey.
I hear an echo.
Bernie culture.
Real quick.
I mean, look at how they support the Bray Wyatt JoJo relationship. And how that whole stuff. It was like, yikes.
Oh, she had a second child, by the way.
Oh, yeah, we saw that.
Yes.
All right, that's why she was. I do hear an echo. Anybody hear that echo?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I hear it.
All right,
it can't be me.
I see. Testing. Echo. All right, I don't hear that echo.
1 2 1 2.
Oh, I still hear it.
Oh. Yeah.
Yes.
It's a weird echo. All right, hopefully it goes away. All right, so we're at the end right now. Last match. This one, again, people listening, this is not the order. We don't know. I don't honestly think this is going to be the main event for this.
No. The main, I think the main event is definitely the Adam Cole.
It'll probably be
Dream match.
Yeah, cinematic.
So this one is a 6-woman tag team match that they're going to have here, and it's with Mia Yim. It's Shanti Blackheart, Tegan Knox versus Candice, and Dakota Kai with Gonzalez.
Raquel Gonzalez.
Raquel Gonzalez.
This is easy.
That brings me. Yep. This is easy. All right.
Yeah.
So you go first. Who do you think's gonna win this one? Like when I saw this on the card, I wasn't that. I was like, what? Why is this a filler? Was there a reason for this? I don't know. I just was.
Yeah. Hands down, this is to establish the heels.
Yeah.
Dakota Kai, she won that Breakout Superstar Award last year. Well, I guess it was technically the beginning of this year. They have plans for her. They have plans for Candice LeRae. This is why they turned her heel. They want to give her a much of a more dirtier side. And, of course, Gonzalez, who was working with Dakota Kai, they obviously want to establish this as, I guess, a new trio that you have to worry about if they decide to keep them together or not. But, yeah, this is about the heels. You know, no offense to Mia Yim. No offense to Tegan Nox. They're all great. But I think this is about, when you think about who are the people that you could see them potentially putting a belt on, I definitely think Dakota Kai and Candice LeRae are those people. So they're probably going to win this match.
All right. Ricky, what about you?
What better way to make people feel good about the world than to have all the bad guys and gals win? That's how it's going to be. Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, Raquel Gonzalez, I think they win this. Yep, all the heels.
Yeah, I saw a package that they did recently with Dakota Kai trying to explain her heel turn. I liked her as a babyface. I don't know, it works for me. So I'm not completely sold on this heel turn, but hey, whatever.
So you're not consoled on her heel turn and Candice LeRae. You think they both were better as babyface?
Yeah. But it's mainly the whole thing with Candice. She smiles a lot. She's always so happy.
Yeah.
She's got that happy-go-lucky feel. When she tried to do the heel before, remember with the makeup and all that, it didn't look natural. It looked forced. And even now, it feels forced. I feel like they're only doing it because they're trying to get the husband over as a heel. So obviously you have to get the wife or else it'll cause a conflict, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what Chris Rock said? If one person in a relationship smoking crack, the other one has to smoke crack too. That's how a relationship works. You know?
The only way that they could have had one face and one heel is if they don't have them working together on camera. Which we've seen happen in WWE with actual, couples. Where,
we're seeing it right now with my boy Aleister Black. And with his girl.
Oh, right.
Vega. She's a heel manager. That's his wife. She's a heel manager, and he's pretty much a baby face.
Yeah, this is very true. I'll echo what you said as far as, like, Dakota Kai, to me, like, she can scowl all she wants and everything. I still see a baby face. Like, I don't know if it's because she's so short, since she's adorable. That's like...
Yeah, she reminds me of that girl in high school. It's like, oh, she's a clean-cut, nice girl. And then over the summer, she started listening to some goth music and said, you know what? I think I'm a badass now. I'm going to redo my image. And I'm like, you know what? All power to you. You can dress and do whatever you want, but this ain't you. We know this ain't you.
Yeah.
You can't just be a switch and just turn it on. Like, yeah, I'm bad. No, I'm sorry. It don't work that way.
That's a very good description of what she is like. Yeah.
It just doesn't work. All right, Dana, what about you? Is this your match of the night? You hyped?
First of all, hi. We're in 2020. Women can be the main event. Okay.
That's not what I was saying. That we could have the title one. No, we have the title match. This is just a generic 6-person. It could be 6 men. It wouldn't matter. There's got to be something on the line. Your main event always has like a title on the line. There's no title involved in this.
Well, remember back in the day, WWE used to acknowledge that women was there and had a whole pay-per-view. So,
they could, and there was a title on the line in the main event.
And all the women main event.
So they could definitely have the NXT women's title, the triple threat, as the main event. I just don't think this is going to be a main event, because if not, a lot of people are going to tune off. I'm like, all right, this looks like a regular match to me.
Oh, so women are going to be toned off. Okay.
Oh, well, no, you're making it a women thing. If this, I said, if this was just women, if this was just men or midgets, I don't give a shit who it is. But it's not enticing to be called a main event match.
My only comment is it could have been a main event match, but when you look at the storylines that they have invested a lot of time in so far, there's other
there's
storylines
better ones on this
that
card.
they want you to pay attention to a little bit more.
I completely understand. It's all thrown together anyway, and people will forget. So,
Yeah.
I do love Dakota Kai, and I think that she is wonderful. I don't have any problem with Candice LeRae trying to be a heel. You know, we have to all learn and try. We'll never know if we don't try.
But she tried. We know, and it didn't work. And I agree with you on that. I agree, but that's what I'm saying. It feels forced. It feels like this second go round is like, well, we have to do it again because we're trying to make your husband look like a bad guy. All right, so can you go back to Ricky's and pick up all the makeup? Can you do that for us? Yeah, I could do it.
Hot mess. Yes. So, here's the thing. I really like Mia Yim and all of her hood ratness, as she calls herself.
That comes off very genuine. I don't feel like it doesn't come off as like she's trying and she went on Urban Dictionary to pick up some slang. It comes off very genuine, so that's cool. I'm cool with that. And
we saw her in that documentary, the Vice special thing.
Yeah,
so it just it's all her. I do have to repeating myself, have to go with Dakota Kai and team I Want to Be a Goth Girl, even though I really love Mia Yim.
Yeah.
I just want to say I hope that obviously they cannot give everybody a push on any promotion, especially not NXT, because you have so many other people you have as the focal point. I hope that they do plan to do something with Mia Yim, with Io Shirai, some of these other people. Because, I mean, that's just... I hope they do plan... Because I feel like Dakota Kai is definitely going to be someone that is going to have the women's championship in the near future on NXT.
I hope
so. Yeah. I feel that that's going to happen for sure. But when that happens, there's other people that have to take a back seat. So that's why I said I hope that eventually some of these other people get more opportunities as well to actually win something. Yeah.
They can restructure their programming, and in that way, they can win, and other people can win as well.
Yeah.
Because, you have more than just one show.
That's
three
true.
of them. Yeah. Not including, remember now the WWE Network is free, and they have new programming.
We didn't even talk about that. That's a whole other issue of what they count as free and yeah.
Free 99. Free 99.
Free 90. Well, then we got the other tier that's about to come out, so we'll see.
So does that mean that we can? So clarify this. Does that mean that we can watch NXT TakeOver in your house this Sunday on the WWE Network for free?
That is incorrect, Mr. Richard Baker. That is incorrect. You still have to pay. Yeah, for those, and they know it's all complicated, what is and what isn't free. That's why they put little locks. So go ahead, log in with your free account, and if you see a lock, don't even bother clicking it. And that's the issue. A lot of the pay-per-views are locked. It looks like only certain ones are available, and it'll probably be like one of those. I think they're going to use that as part of their promotions for upcoming events. So like, let's say the Royal Rumble, like, hey, for this time only, the last year's Royal Rumble is now free on the free tier. Go ahead, click it and watch it. And I think that's what they're really using that for. And again, just to promote Raw and SmackDown and those type of things. This is just a promotional tool. Just to watch recaps and things.
It didn't even work when they had it for. Remember when they made the network itself free?
Well, that worked. That worked. I know a lot of people because all the pay-per-views were free. Everything was free. That was almost as if you did enter your credit card information and did that 1 month free service. Because a lot of people are like, oh, it's just the same. No, it's not, because it wasn't asking for that information. A lot of people did not have to put that, and they just logged in, and everything was just free.
You know what that was? That was the panic-demic response.
Yeah.
They saw, people are home. They need stuff to watch. Let's just make this free so we can try and get some new subscribers later.
Of course, yep. Because right after Mania, boop, shut off.
Yep.
Shut off. They didn't even talk about that it was going to be shut off. Because that's the thing. They never mentioned when there was an end time. They just said, hey, it's free now until further notice. Where's the notice? You never gave us it. You just turned it off. That was it. So.
Oh, and just really quickly to reiterate on that, you cannot get your free month anymore.
Oh, you can't.
No.
Yeah, that's the whole thing, because there's already a free tier. So then there's no point for the free month.
Yeah,
it's like, hey, we're giving you some content for free already to wet your whistle. So it's up to you to determine if you want to now open your wallet.
So here's my last question on that. Is the Undertaker series going to be free when the new episode starts?
No.
That's the whole reason why they pushed it, because they want to prolong it so that way they can at least charge for 2 months for if anyone was thinking of just or had the subscription thinking, all right, I'll just pay $9.99 for this month to see Undertaker's last ride. That's why they made sure the last episode goes into another month, so they at least get 2 payments from these people.
Because that episode, I believe, is not until next week when Backlash. Yeah. See. Yep. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what the plan was.
Yep. See, they're trying to. They know what they're doing with that.
No, they don't. Because in 2014, they only have 2 million subscribers. But okay,
no, not to promote. I'm saying with they're trying to drag this out. They know what they're trying to do. Because if they're not, they could have just had everything. They could have just did it week to week, boom, boom, boom. That's it, and it's all done in the month of May. So we're done. But on that time, we are done. That was the last match for NXT in your house, bringing it back. Be 2020. That's right. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a good card. It's going to be fun. Definitely going to deliver. NXT pay-per-views usually do deliver. So I'm excited for it. What about you, Rich? Any closing statements? Anything you want to say to the people?
Oh, no. I'm looking forward to NXT TakeOver in your house. I would encourage everybody to check it out if you have been following NXT. At least you know you're going to get a quality show. I can't say the same for the rest of WWE, but that's you definitely might want to check it out.
Ricky, anything you want to say?
Well, the name in your house has been synonymous with low quality, whereas TakeOver has been synonymous with high quality. So hopefully, TakeOver end of that will override the in your house part of it. But the card does look promising. I think it'll be entertaining as well. Definitely looking forward to it as well.
All right, Dana.
Y'all shady. I think that the card itself looks very good. There's nothing wrong with bringing back vintage pay-per-view titles and names and whatever to make yourself feel special. I think the name is appropriate, and it'll be cute and fun. And honestly, I forgot this was even a thing. So, yay.
All right. Yeah. So, thanks for listening, guys, and people out there in the world checking it out. Thanks for visiting the Koalition, whether on YouTube or over at the website. And, we'll be back for the next prediction pay-per-view, which I think is
next week.
It's next week. That's right.
Backlash.
Get smacked in the back of the neck.
The greatest wrestling match ever.
That we're gonna have a lot to say about that shit. Oh man, just the cojones they have, that Vince has to put that fucking catch moniker on this match. Are you kidding me? Come on now. This ain't gonna. All right, whatever. So that's it. Have a good weekend, everybody. Stay safe, and we will see you next week. Peace.